Hello and welcome to Alternative Military Summary channel. Today I'm here to discuss the war upgrades in Ukraine on 24th of August 2023. There hasn't been much actions in the battlefront. However, there has been a important day to mark for Ukraine for 31st Independence Day for Ukraine, which they're celebrating by displaying destroyed Russian military equipment in the streets of Kiev, which also is seen as encouraging for the Ukrainians, and also they're trying to get more mobilization among the Ukrainian populations. There has been an announcement from the Ukrainian president that there's going to be a further mobilization of 200,000 people, which is unlikely. The numbers could be even higher. According to the Russian sides, they believe that the number of mobilization would be about 4,000, double the number that Kyiv has announced. As for the fact that under the counteroffensives, their ongoing counteroffensives, they have lost a lot of manpowers and personnel that needs to be replenished to counter the upcoming Russian counteroffensive after the depleted forces that Ukraine has spent in their counteroffensives on its 10th week. Let's get back right into the progress in the front lines. There has been updates in Robotyne, where Ukrainians has put a flag in the roof of a town council in Robotyne, which is significant for them for a special day to mark the Independence Day of Ukraine. However, the central part of Robotyne still remains in grey zone. There were a number of reports from Russian Ministry of Defense that you can try to push through the west part of it. There were a number of attacks which were repelled by the Russians, and there are continued push from Ukraine from the middle part of that is from the north side with armored vehicles and more of Western equipments they're using for their counteroffensive, and both sides are continuously dueling with artillery rounds in either sides, and Ukraine are effectively using their Western supplied cluster munitions to push back the Russians, and especially the infantry, as they come under heavy artillery fire from the Ukrainians and the Russians alike, trying to push back the concentration of Ukrainian troops in the central part of Robotyne by artillery and mortar fires to push back the Ukrainians and to hold their line of defense in this area. Apart from that, there has been updates in Staromaiska direction, where Russia continues to shell the city of Staromaiska, or the town of Staromaiska, which has been taken by Ukrainians, and on the other hand, Ukraine continues to move right and left from their direction, from the northern direction, to strengthen their bridgehead across both sides of the city. And recently, as you might have noticed, that Robotyne has fallen and Russia has been pushed back, so their Ukrainian side are trying to continue to consolidate these gains, and obviously Russians are continuously attacking the Ukrainians with FPV drones as well as artillery rounds across the front lines every day pretty much. And following that, in the Donetsk direction, there hasn't been any updates apart from previous updates that has taken. There's no further activities in these areas. However, the Russian Ministry of Defense mentioned that there were a number of attacks from the Ukrainians on this bridgehead from the 67th Mechanized Brigade, 25th Airborne Brigade, and also from the 95th Brigade in this bridgehead in Novoselivka in the direction. But all those attacks were repelled by the Russians, and they do know that these are the strong Ukrainian reserve forces that are trying to gain further foothold and also taste the Russian defenses in this area. So they are continuing to hold against this strong Ukrainian push in this direction. There hasn't been much updates anywhere else in this direction. Avdiivka. Following that, we can go towards the Kupiansk front line, not much has happened in these areas, but we can see this significant number of Ukrainian reserves has been pushed towards the front lines in this area in Torsk, and Russians aren't advancing as quickly as people might have predicted in this area, but the Ukrainians' reserves has been deployed in this area to strengthen their defense and to hold the Russians on the lines. And the Kupiansk front line, there has been Russian push from this part of the area where they across the Oskil River, they are trying to push the Ukrainians further back. However, many analysts has updated their map in Sinkivka has fallen to Russian hands, but which hasn't been confirmed as far as I'm concerned. And the Ministry of Defense hasn't confirmed that it has been taken. The Ministry of Defense of Russia hasn't confirmed that. And Ukrainians continue to hold their defense in these areas with the 44th Mechanized Brigade and lots of reserves that recently has been deployed in this area. 14 separate mechanized, which part of the reserve force of Ukraine. 44th, they're operating in this area, and the 32nd Mechanized Brigade that has been operating in this. So there hasn't been much push in this direction as well. Apart from that, there has been ongoing Ukrainian drone attacks across the front lines, as well as Russian regions of Belgorod, where that was suppressed by the electronic warfare's electronic equipments that Russia uses to suppress the Ukrainian drone attacks, as well as the number of drone attacks towards Moscow has been suppressed and neutralized in this area, as reported by the Ministry of Defense of Russia. Finally, to conclude, there is a massive news in this area that a jet has crashed in the area between St. Petersburg and Moscow, which was traveling towards St. Petersburg, but it is unfortunate that Yevgeny Prigozhin, who was listed as a passenger along with 6 others from the Wagner commanders that he usually travels with, has crashed in this area. And there are a number of Western medias that has already reported heavily in this about the crash. Yevgeny Prigozhin, if you remember clearly, that he was going against the Kremlin. He attempted a coup of Moscow in the previous months, where obviously Putin would not have supported that. Obviously, the idea of that, of course, and he obviously crossed the red line there by not listening to Putin and going against the Kremlin itself. So the headquarters in St. Petersburg of or Wagner mercenary group has been lit up with a cross, as you can see over there. Also, Western media has already updated in many of their websites that Yevgeny Prigozhin has died in the crash or was a listed passenger in the crashed jet. And eventually, the Russian Ministry of Defense has concluded that yes, he was a listed passenger, and of course he has been confirmed as one of the deaths. So here's a video of the crash that has taken place. Briefly, we can see that it is a significant development, and obviously Western media has already known about that Putin will take a revenge on Yevgeny Prigozhin for his role in the mutiny against the Kremlin. So that has finally happened, and that's all for today, without much more information that is being shared. And thank you for watching, and please subscribe and share the content if you liked the video. And I'll come back to you with another video updates when possible. Thank you.